right, so the two ways up to this point that we have, is that on almost? Okay. The two ways that we have done solving systems of equations, okay, have been solving by substitution, and that we plugged in something for another thing, right, and used that to solve the system. The other way was graphing. Okay, we graphed by using slope-intercept form, and wherever they intersected, we were good on all that, right? That wasn't difficult. Okay, so what does the word mean? If you see this word, okay, we're solving systems of equations by elimination. Okay, what do you think? What does elimination mean, Carson?
To destroy, to take out.
Okay, we're going to get rid of something.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to destroy something. We're going to take out something. Okay, that's basically our objective. We're going to use what we have in a system of equations to get rid of one of the variables. Okay, now the thing is, nothing changes. Every time, this is systems just like the other systems, all of our answers are still going to be in what?
Answers in a
Ordered
pair.
ordered pairs, okay? So we're still going to have solution sets. We're going to have an X and we're going to have a Y. Okay? Yeah.
Is this factoring out?
Nope. Nope. This is actually pretty easy, okay? Now there's two types we're going to do, okay? We're going to do two types of elimination. Okay, the first one we're going to do addition. Now addition are really easy, okay? You'll see addition. And then we're going to do subtraction. Okay? Now subtraction is a little bit different, but it's actually pretty easy, okay? All right, so let's take a look at this system of equations, okay? First thing is, this is not in slope-intercept form, is it? In other words, if we wanted to solve this by graphing, we would have to do some serious rearranging here, right, in order to get that into slope-intercept form. This is what we call standard form of an equation, okay? When you have A plus B equals, basically you have an X plus or minus a Y equals a number by itself, okay? That's a standard form of an equation, okay? And what we need to do, we don't have to change anything. We're going to leave it in standard form, okay? But what we're going to do is we're going to kind of separate these terms, okay? So what separates one term from another? A plus or minus sign, okay? So we basically separate these terms. Okay, we can separate these terms. Okay, separate these terms, and then we'll kind of, I wish these aligned a little bit better, but they don't. Okay, but basically we have, these are our X terms, these are our what? What are these? These are our Y terms, and these are our constant. Those are basically our whatever this equals, okay? And so what we're going to do, okay, we're going to see how is there any of these columns, and specifically I'm talking about the X or the Y, when we combine these, if we look through these columns, if we combine the top with the bottom, that would eliminate one. Look at the first one. If we combine negative 4x and x, what does that give us? That's like a negative 4 plus 1. What does that give us? This is a negative 3x. Now what happens in this column? We have a negative 3y and a positive 3y. What happens to those?
Cancel.
They're gone. They cancel each other out. And that's what we want. Okay, because remember, what are we solving by? Elimination. Okay? So basically, these cancel each other out. That's what we want. Okay? Now we come down here. Can we combine these?
Yes.
Okay? What do we do if we combine those?
30.
It would be what? It would be 30. Okay? Now what we can do when we come across a problem like this is we can use this to solve for x, because we've gotten rid of our y term, haven't we? Okay? So can I solve for x now? This is essentially, what have we done? With this, we've made this into a what? A one-step equation. Okay? Can I eliminate this? Or I said eliminate. Can we solve this?
Yes.
Divide each side by what? By negative 3. What does x equal? Negative 10. Okay, so we already now have half of our answer. Now, how do you think we're going to use that half to find our y? What do you think we're going to do? Well, and we'll go back to one of the other ways that we solved. What was that called? Substitution. Substitution. So we're going to plug it into one of these equations. It doesn't matter which one, okay? But let's plug it in. Which one do we want to plug it into?
The bottom one.
The bottom one, okay. So if we plug it into this one, we're going to replace x with what? What does x equal now? Negative 10. So we have negative 10 plus 3y equals 17. Well, what do I need to do here? Get what by itself? Y. This is a two-step equation, right? Okay, so what's keeping this? I made my plus sign kind of bad. Let me fix my plus sign. Negative 10 plus. Okay, we need to get rid of this, negative 10. How do we get rid of that negative 10?
Add it.
Okay, so if we, remember, equations are what? Balanced, right? If I do something to one side, I've got to do it to the other side. So if I add 10 here, what must I also do?
Add 10 into 17.
Now these cancel. What's left here? 3y. What's 17 plus 10?
27.
Can I solve for this y now? If I divide each side by 3, what do I have? 9. So y equals 9. Do I have a value for my x? And do I have a value for my y? I do. So this would be my solution set. Okay? Does that make sense what we did there? Okay? Not that difficult, is it? Okay? Let's try another one. Okay? Now, when we get to subtraction, we've got to change some things. But for right now, let's do another one of these. Guys, let's look at this one. Okay, this one starts off easy. Okay? I can draw my separations if I want to. You don't really have to, but what happens on this one? Instead of finding the x first, what is eliminated here?
X.
Is our x column eliminated? Yeah, I have negative 7 and a positive 7. Those basically cancel each other out. What is 2? If we combine a 2 and a negative 6, what do we have?
Negative 4.
We have negative 4y, and I have a 2 and another negative 6. What do I have here?
Negative.
What kind of 4?
Negative.
Negative 4. Can I now solve for my y pretty easily? Everything is divided by what? By negative 4. And a negative over a negative is going to give me what?
Positive.
Positive, and any number over itself is what?
1.
1. So what's my y value?
1.
1. Do I have half my answer? Okay. Now, does that 1 go here?
No.
Where does it go? On the y. It's our y value. Okay. So now I can go plug in. Now, if I'm looking at these two equations, okay, the noticeable difference is the bottom one has lots of what?
Negative.
Lots of negativity. Okay. Lots of negative. I don't want to mess with negatives if I don't have to. So if I'm choosing which one of these equations to plug in my y value, which one's easier?
Top.
Top. I'd go with the top. Okay, because I'm a positive person. Okay. So I have 7x plus 2, but instead of y, I'm going to replace that with a what? A 1 equals 2. So 7x plus 2 times 1 is 2 equals 2. Okay, what's happening here? Minus 2 minus 2. So I have 7x equals 0. If I divide everything by 7, what is that? What is 0 divided by 7?
0.
0. So my points would be 0, 1. Okay? Do we understand how to do these addition ones? Okay? All right, let's take a look. I want you guys try this one. Nope, don't try that one. Are we good on addition?
Can you go back to this argument?
You need to see what we have up there? Sure. Okay. Any questions on these? Or if I didn't put one up here, if I gave you one of these to do, I'm going to give you 5 to do. Do we understand how this works? This is pretty easy, right? Okay. So let's move on to subtraction. Okay? All right. Are we good?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Can I erase this? So now, what do you notice different about this one? Yes, our x's and our y's are all aligned, but what do you notice about it? If I separate these columns by these terms, if I combine these, am I going to have some trouble? What's the problem here? I have a 2x and a what? Another 2x. Is that going to eliminate an x?
No.
That's going to make it a 4x. And then I have a 10y and a 2y. Is that going to eliminate?
No.
No. So what I need to do, if I was to, which one of these, okay, I look at the coefficients. Are any of these coefficients the same? Remember what coefficients are? Numbers that are what?
Yes.
Being multiplied by the variable. Are these coefficients the same? So what would have to happen to this so that it would eliminate the x's? Noah? Have to become negative. So essentially what I can do is I can subtract. Now here's the thing. Okay, you remember when we do subtraction of not normal subtraction, what is our rule? Copy, add opposite. It's kind of the same thing. We're going to make everything here the opposite sign of what it is. So instead of this being a 2x, it's going to be a what? A negative 2x, but we can't, it's like we're multiplying the entire thing times this. Okay? If we multiply the whole thing times negative 1, that's how you change the sign of everything in an equation, right? So if I multiply negative 1 times 2x, I have negative 2x. If I have negative 1 times positive 2y, what's that going to be? Minus 2y. And what is negative 1 times 14? Okay, now you can actually, in your head, you can actually write it out that you're multiplying everything times a negative 1. But essentially, all I did was go through this entire equation and change the sign of everything in there, didn't I? Right? Okay, so now, I'm going to extend my columns down here. Do I have, and I'm not looking at these anymore, these are gone. Okay, do I have something that's eliminated now?
Yes.
What's eliminated?
The x.
The x's are eliminated. So now I no longer have 10 plus 2y, I have what? A 10 and a negative 2y. And if I combine a 10 and a negative 2y, what do I have? 10 and negative 2. Huh? Say it. Somebody said it. 8. So this is 8y. And I no longer have a 6 and a 14. I have a 6 and a negative 14. What's 6 and negative 14? Negative 8. Can I solve for my y now?
Yes.
Divide each side by what?
8.
By 8. And a negative divided by a positive is a negative, and any number over itself is what? 1. So our y value is, okay, so I have a negative 1 here. Okay, now let's plug it in. We can plug it in. Let's go with this top one, okay? Bless you, because it's still the original, right? So 2x plus 10, but I'm going to replace my y with a what? What am I going to replace my y with? A negative 1 equals 6. So 2x, what's 10 times negative 1?
Negative 10.
So minus 10 equals 6. What is this? This is just a two-step equation. So I'm going to add 10 here. I'm going to add 10 here. What am I left with? 2x equals, anybody? 10 plus 6, 16. How do I solve this? Divide each side by what?
2.
By 2. Okay, what does x equal?
8.
8. Did I solve that system of equations? Yes. Question.
If you put the negative 1 on the bottom one, would those numbers still be negative or would they still be positive?
If you put it on this one,
Yeah.
you can plug it into either one because you're going to get the same value.
I know. Okay.
But if you plugged it in here, essentially this would be negative 2x and a negative 2 times a negative 1. Okay. All right. Do we understand how we did that? Yes? Okay. You want to try one? Okay. What's different about this one? Are any of my columns eliminating a variable? No. So what do? I'm going to separate my columns here. Can I do something here? I'll do this in black. If I multiply this whole well, first of all, these have the same coefficient, don't they? These have the same coefficient, don't they? So if they have the same coefficient, that allows me to get rid of that one, right? So if I multiply this whole thing by negative 1, what does this become? This becomes plus 4x. What does this become?
Negative 4.
Minus 4y. And what does this become? Minus 24. Okay. Do you guys understand why we multiply by negative 1 here? Do you guys mind closing the, yeah, one of you guys. No, not you, not you. You're broken. Rachel, will you close that, please? Okay. Do you understand why we multiply by negative 1 here, guys?
Yes.
Because we had to set up something so that it would eliminate, right? Okay. So this is no longer here. Okay. Did we eliminate our x's? Did we eliminate our x's? Yeah. So if we have a negative 5y and a negative 4y, what do we now have? Negative 9y. And we have a 6 and a negative 24. You have $6, but you owe me 24. You still owe money? How much do you owe me? 18. Now we divide each side by what? By negative 9. And a negative divided by a negative would give me a what? Positive. And what's 18 divided by 9? 2. Do I have half my answer? Which value did I find? My y. So can I use this now to go back and find my x? Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so which one do you want to plug it into? Top, okay. So I have negative 4x minus 5 times 2, because I replaced my y with 2, equals 6. So negative 4x, what's negative 5 times 2? Minus 10 equals 6. I need to get rid of this negative 10 because this is a what two-step equation, right? So I'm going to add 10 on each side, which leaves me with negative 4x equals, what's 6 plus 10? 16. Divide each side. What's being multiplied by x? What's being multiplied by x? Negative 4. So I divide each side by negative 4, and that leaves me with x equals what? Negative 4. Okay. Does this make sense? Okay. Looks kind of crazy, but I seem to say the same thing every day. It looks really difficult, but once you get it, it's not that hard. Agreed? It's pretty easy, right? All right. Do you want to do another one, or are you ready? All right.